today's session. Here we will be dealing with the next class, that is class Amphibia, belongs to the main subdivision Gnatostomata. Yes, that means all the organism which belongs to the class Amphibia or aves, reptilia or mammalia, they all actually have very well developed limbs. They are tetrapoda. So I will be talking about tetrapoda classes. The first class is Amphibia. Amphi means dual. Bia means life. So we write that Amphi is dual. Bia is nothing but bios. Bio means life. Bios, that is nothing but life. So Amphibia. Amphibia is nothing but the dual life. That means this particular organism can survive in both water as well as terrestrial condition. Can we? No, we can survive only in terrestrial condition, not in the water. Correct? Why? Because we have lungs and nose. If we want to breathe in the water, obviously it is not possible. We don't have any filter just to take up only oxygen. Okay, so we don't have that kind of like structure in our body. But in the case of amphibia organisms, they have different types of respiratory system. Hence they can survive in water as well as terrestrial condition. There is a switching of respiratory system. When they are living in the aquatic condition, obviously they use gills. When they are in terrestrial condition, they use nostrils, that is lungs. The other one is skin for respiration. That's it. Switching could be said. Fine. So we write the point where exactly they live, that is habitat. Habitat is aquatic plus terrestrial. Both the conditions. So this is actually the diagram of a frog. It's very simple. You have seen frogs. Yes, plenty. And you can even imagine, if the question is asked in the examination, you can imagine a frog and write the points also. That is also there. Okay. The first thing is, what is the character of a frog actually? See, if you touch it, it slips. That means the skin is bit slimy. Correct? So that means it secretes some liquid. So that makes it slippery. Got it? Mucus kind of structure will be there. And other than that, it has got limbs also. How many are there? Two pairs. A pair of forelimbs and a pair of hind limbs. Forelimbs, hind limbs. Simple, right? Okay. Other than that, there are characters. Let us see that. So in the case of frog, see the body is divisible into only two parts. Only two parts. That means right. The body is divisible into two parts. The one is a very well distinct head. The other one is the trunk portion. Trunk. This is trunk. Got it? Okay. So this is very important character of a frog. But in the class Amphibia, you not only see frogs. Other than that, there are other animals. For example, you might have seen a kind of like a organism which looks similar to frog, which visit your house, normally in the storeroom. If you touch them, obviously, like they are a bit rough, not like frogs. They are not slippery, actually rough. So they are what is toads. What do you call toad? They are different. Toads and frogs are entirely different. Okay. So here, let me just draw one more animal which also belongs to the same class, that is Amphibia, which looks like a snake. If you see this animal, you feel like it is snake itself, but it is not snake. Normally you don't see them in Belagavi. If you just go to south like Kerala, Tamil Nadu or Coorg, you see these creatures actually. They normally live inside the soil and they are in black and yellowish in color actually. Some strips will be there, yellow strips will be there for the black body. Okay. So this is called as Ichthyophis. See the name. Ichthyophis is the name. They are limbless amphibians. These amphibians got limbs. See, forelimbs and hind limbs. In this case, no limbs at all. Okay, they crawl actually. So they are called as limbless amphibians. Scientific name is Ichthyophis. Ichthyophis. This is normally seen in south, particularly Western Ghats, particularly south, like Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Coorg, even Mangalore also. One more organism which also belongs to the amphibia, they are nothing but called as salamanders. Yes, salamanders. Okay, and even they have got a very well developed forelimb as well as hind limbs actually, but still they live in the water. Okay, the specialty of them is we can easily differentiate between frog ichthyophis and salamander, that is presence or absence of tail. Frogs, do they have tail? No, only in the larval stage of the frog you see tail. Got it? Whereas in the case of salamander and ichthyophis you see tail. So we have to add a point here. Tail is seen in ichthyophis plus salamander. Okay, in frogs you don't see the tail in the adult stage, but in the larval stage you see. Okay. Next is, if you take the eyes, what is the specialty in the eyes? Simple. See, as I mentioned that they can survive in aquatic as well as terrestrial condition. In the aquatic condition, they have to keep their eyes open when they actually reside inside the water actually. So, to keep their eyes open, like just imagine, like for human beings it is possible to keep our eyes open in the water. No, it's not possible actually. We have to close our lids, correct, to protect our eyes from the force of the water actually. But in this case no, they have a wonderful cover, like a plastic cover which covers the eyes. It is nothing but called as the eyelids for the frog eye. The specific name is nictitating membrane. Nictitating membrane which protects the eyes. So which is like a glass sheet which covers the eye, that is called as nictitating membrane. So just write full name, nictitating membrane. It is nothing but eyelid. That is one special character. Even this also exhibit nictitating membrane. The same will be seen in reptilia also, snakes and crocodiles. So fine. Anyhow, the next thing is actually see very close to the eye, just behind the eye you see a small black spot. Normally you have seen in the case of frogs. Okay, this small dot behind the eye is actually called as tympanum. See, in the case of human being or any kind of like mammals you take, like we have very well developed ear, particularly external ear is there. This is external ear called as the pinna, and inside that internal ear will be there. In this case only internal ear will be there. There is no external ear like pinna. Okay, so pinna is absent, but instead they have a structure here that is called as tympanum. That is nothing but the external ear for the amphibian. Note this one, very important, tympanum. Fine. Okay, next is actually this is actually the mouth part, and finally here this is the end of the alimentary canal, this particular portion. The specialty is, if you take mammals have a reproductive structure. The opening will be entirely different. Even actually the end of the alimentary canal, that is anus, is entirely different. That is two openings. But in the case of these frogs or amphibia, there is only one opening. Only one opening. That is called as cloaca. What do you call? Cloaca. Cloaca is the common opening for alimentary canal. Search shall I write AC? Alimentary canal, digestive system, opening, alimentary canal. Even actually urinal tract, for the urine also same, opening. Alimentary canal, that is actually the food waste products will be released from this particular only one opening. Okay, that is cloaca. At the same time, urine also will be excreted from the same opening. Even it is also a reproductive organ or reproductive tract. See, got it? It is also a reproductive tract. That means three different functions is taken care by this particular common opening in frogs or amphibia called as cloaca. Remember, very important, cloaca is the common opening for alimentary canal, urinal canal and reproductive tract. Got it? So this is important. Next is, we will talk about its skin actually. The skin is bit slimy. So we write skin is slimy or slippery. The reason is they secrete mucus. Some glands will be there. Okay, glands. Hope you know the meaning of glands. I think you have studied about endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Endocrine glands are the glands which secretes only hormones. Exocrine glands are the glands which secrete certain secretions like oil, very good example, or mucus, even the tears, okay, or sweat. See, this is actually, in the case of frog, they have some glands. These glands actually secrete a small, like tiny or kind of like slimy like structure actually, that is mucus. So that is the reason why skin is slippery. different respiratory structure. That is lungs. If the particular amphibia is living in a terrestrial condition, they use lungs, or even they can also use their skin. Skin contains minute pores. Because of that, they can absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Even if they are living in aquatic condition, they can make use of their gills. See, they have got a lot of opportunity. They can survive anywhere. Yes, not like human beings. Fine. So there is this one character where here when I was explaining about the skin, as I said, skin is bit moist and it is bit mucus because it has got glands. And along with that, if you touch the skin, you will not feel the presence of scales. Scales are completely absent. So we write that. Not like fishes. In fishes, you see scales, but in the case of amphibians, scales are completely absent. You don't see the scales. Okay, this is one thing. And the next is we will talk about its reproduction. Oh, I forgot, very important thing. They are cold-blooded animals. So I write Poikilothermus. What is the meaning of Poikilothermus? The organism which do not have the ability to synthesize or produce their own body heat. They cannot, not like us. Okay, they have to depend on the sun and absorb the sunlight and increase their body temperature. So they are cold-blooded. CD, cold-blooded. The term is Poikilothermus. Done. The next is reproduction. Here, reproduction is always sexual mode. We'll write it. Reproduction is always sexual mode. Okay, and fertilization is always external. So I just write F. It is external. That means during the mating, the male frog releases sperms in the water. At the same time, the female frog also releases ova in the water. Okay, they mix and fertilization takes place in the water. So it is external. It is one of the important characters of the class Amphibia. Very important character. And you can easily differentiate male and female frogs. In the case of male frogs, obviously you see kind of like a structure which is actually called as the vocal sac. Okay, the vocal sac could be seen in the case of male frogs. Normally, male frogs actually produce sound that is called as mating call when they are reproductively mature. So it is based on the frequency of the call produced by the male. With the help of the vocal sac, the females are attracted. Okay, but still in the between the males you see competition. Okay, who produces good or more sound? So that is also there. Fine. The next is they are all oviparous. After the external fertilization, the next stage is eggs. Kind of like eggs like structure will be developed. So it is oviparous. Oviparous, and after that what you see is larvae. That means development is always indirect. In the case of frog, you see tadpoles. Have you seen tadpoles? The tadpoles will mature into this kind of adult. That means it is larvae. Tadpoles are nothing but larvae itself. In the case of larvae, you see tail. So this is one character. Okay, so that is indirect development. So this is actually the important characteristics of the class Amphibia. The examples, Bufo, you can write. Bufo is very good example. That is nothing but toad. Okay, we just write it if you want. Toad, or even Rana, a common frog, bit seen everywhere in the paddy fields. Or maybe like Hyla. Hyla is a type of tree frog. Or even you could see salamander or salamandra. Normally you see them in the Himalayan region, salamandra. Okay, it's almost very close to extinct now, salamandra. And Ichthyophis is very commonly seen in Western Ghats actually. They are all limbless Amphibia. Okay, so these are all the examples of the class Amphibia. Hope you understood this session. Thank you.